Hello, dear listener. Welcome to Soothing Storyteller. You've made it through another day. Now it's time to rest your mind, to leave the rush behind, and allow the softness of sleep to slowly take its place. Take a deep breath with me, in and out. Let your body become heavy and your thoughts drift like feathers on the breeze. Tonight, I'd like to take you far away, not just in distance, but in time. Back, centuries back, to a world that moved slowly, simply, gently. We're visiting a medieval inn, not the kind of place filled with sword fights or royal intrigue, but something simpler, more peaceful. A humble, cozy place where tired travelers stop, where stew bubbles slowly in a great iron pot, where candles flicker on wooden tables, and every creak of the beams above tells a quiet story. Together, we'll wander through a single day in this inn, from the stillness of pre-dawn to the hush of a sleeping hall beneath the stars. There's no need to stay awake. Let the words wash over you like warm wool. If you drift off, that's perfectly fine. That's what we're here for. So, lay back. Close your eyes if you like, and come with me now, back to the year 1387, to a bend in a muddy road where an inn waits patiently, its hearth still glowing from the night before. It is still dark. The moon has just dipped beyond the trees, leaving the world in a hush of deep blue and gray. Only the faintest stars remain, flickering softly in the cold morning air. Nestled among low hills and quiet woods, at the edge of a thatched village, stands an inn. Its walls are wattle and daub, crisscrossed timber beams filled with earth and straw. Its roof, a thick mat of reed thatch, dew-covered and quiet. Above the doorway swings a wooden sign, swaying gently in the breeze. It creaks ever so faintly, a rhythmic lullaby for the sleeping world. The sign bears a painted creature, a boar, or perhaps a griffin, depending on who you ask. It is weathered now, but still proud. Inside, all is still. The great room lies in darkness, save for the softest orange glow at the hearth. Embers from last night's fire still smolder, exhaling a gentle warmth. The air smells of soot and old oak, of wool blankets and burnt candlewick. A tabby cat, curled into a ball on a bench near the fire, dreams quietly. Its sides rise and fall, ears flicking gently at invisible sounds. Upstairs, a narrow loft holds the sleeping forms of travelers. There are no private rooms here, not unless you're very wealthy. Instead, straw mattresses lie in rows on the floorboards, Bundles of cloaks and satchels are tucked close like loyal pets. You can hear it if you listen. A few soft snores, a cough in the distance, then silence again. In a small room at the back of the inn, beneath a beam marked with a horseshoe for luck, someone stirs. Old Edric, the innkeeper. He is a thick-shouldered man with white hair and hands like oaken logs. He rises slowly, joints creaking like the rafters above him, pulls on his woolen stockings, his heavy linen tunic, and lights a small tallow candle. The flame flickers gently, painting gold across the room. He makes his way down the crooked stairs, his steps soft, practiced. The hearth welcomes him with a gentle whisper as he kneels and stokes the fire. With flint and tinder, he awakens the flame once more. Soft sparks leap, and the embers glow brighter. A few moments pass, then the fire catches. The room begins to warm. The day is beginning, though the sun has not yet arrived. Outside, the wind sighs softly through the hedges. A rooster crows once, then silence. The inn is still half asleep, but not for long. The first hour of morning belongs to the kitchen. Malin, Edric's wife, appears in the doorway not long after the fire is lit. She carries a basket of fresh eggs and a jug of milk. Her hair is tied in a simple braid. Her face, kind and quiet. She moves about the inn with soft steps, whispering to the cat as she passes. Together, they begin the day's rituals. A fresh loaf of dough is placed in a shallow bowl near the hearth. Rising slowly in the warmth, it breathes as though alive. Edric ladles water from a bucket into the great iron pot hanging above the flames. Soon, it will bubble gently with porridge, leeks, and whatever scraps they have left from the night before. Herbs hang above the mantel: rosemary, sage, thyme. Malin pulls a sprig and crushes it with a worn wooden spoon. The scent rises, sharp, sweet, earthy. Outside, the sound of boots squelching in morning mud approaches. Young Tom, their apprentice, returns from the well, carrying 2 sloshing buckets. His cheeks are red from the cold, but he smiles as he sets them down. He's still learning the rhythm of this place, but his steps are getting steadier. In the back room, mugs and bowls are wiped clean with linen cloths. A wheel of hard cheese is sliced with a short, bone-handled knife. And a fresh keg of weak ale is tapped for breakfast, safer than water, even for children. A candle is lit in the window, a quiet signal to the village. The inn is open. slowly, the world beyond the walls begins to stir. Carts rumble along the road. The first few customers, local farmers and travelers alike, make their way to the door. A new day begins at the inn. But there's no hurry here. Time stretches, long and wide, like the fields beyond the village. You can almost hear it. The soft clatter of clay bowls on the table, the whisper of the fire, and far away, the lazy toll of a morning bell from the village chapel. By now, the soft gray of early morning has grown warmer, golden, as the sun slowly rises above the thatched rooftops. Inside the inn, the quiet stillness begins to shift. A gentle rustling upstairs, a creaking floorboard, a quiet yawn, followed by the scrape of boots on wood. The travelers are waking. There's the old tinker, face browned by years on the road, stretching out stiff limbs and blinking toward the rising light. Next, a pair of wool-clad pilgrims from the western coast, murmuring prayers in Latin under their breath as they sit up and stretch. A merchant's son wipes sleep from his eyes and reaches for his pouch, checking its drawstring with the caution born of experience. They come down the stairs in trickles, not all at once, still wrapped in their cloaks, eyes half closed, drawn toward the smell of warm porridge and the low hum of conversation. At the long oak tables, Malin greets each guest with quiet warmth. A trencher of barley bread is placed before them, soft in the middle and slightly scorched at the edges. Next to it, a bowl of pottage, simple, thick, made of last night's leeks and herbs. The food is modest, but comforting. Edric moves among the tables with a jug of watered ale, filling wooden cups without fuss. He knows most of these travelers by type, if not by name. The quiet ones who keep to themselves, the talkative ones who gesture wide and spill their stories like wine, and the weary ones who simply eat, nod, and rest their heads on folded arms. Over in the corner, an elderly man with a harp begins to pluck a soft tune. Something slow and gentle, a melody that feels older than the walls themselves. The cat returns to its place near the fire. A child, traveling with his mother, reaches out with cautious fingers and is rewarded with a contented purr. The room is warm now, filled with quiet motion. It smells of bread and wood smoke, wool and rosemary. Laughter bubbles softly here and there, like spring water over stone. No one rushes. There is nowhere to be but here, for now. As the morning deepens into noon, the light shifts again, glowing warmly through the small, leaded windows. Dust motes dance in the beams of sunlight, moving lazily as if they too have nowhere urgent to be. The inn is now gently bustling. Outside, a soft commotion signals the arrival of new travelers. A courier on a tired bay mare dismounts stiffly, stretching sore limbs before leading the horse to water. The innkeeper greets him with a nod, taking the wax-sealed scroll he carries and tucking it beneath the bar. There are 2 monks today as well, robed in brown, sandals dusted from the road. They carry no money, but offer a blessing in exchange for a meal, and Malin welcomes them with a smile that needs no words. They sit quietly at the edge of the hall, eating slowly, eyes closed between bites, perhaps in meditation. Back in the kitchen, the stew is deepening. Carrots, onions, and cabbage bubble with the meat of a rabbit snared just yesterday. The scent is rich and earthy, curling through the rafters. Young Tom, the apprentice, chops kindling out back. The steady thunk, thunk, thunk of the axe sounds like the pulse of the building itself. Overhead, a pair of swallows nests in the eaves. Their chirps blend with the clatter of clay cups, the soft chatter of guests, and the occasional clink of iron spoons against bowls. At one table, a pair of merchants discuss wool prices in low voices. At another, a knight in faded armor listens politely to a woman's story about her brother's bakery and the price of flour this season. And through it all, the innkeeper watches, not intruding, not commanding, just present. A quiet conductor to this unhurried symphony of lives, briefly joined. In places like this, tradition hangs heavier than the timber beams. There are things done here that no one questions. Little rituals passed from hand to hand like heirlooms. Above the hearth, there's always a sprig of rosemary, hung there not just for scent, but to ward off sickness. A small horseshoe is nailed, just slightly askew, above the back door, to confuse any ill-meaning spirits that might try to slip in unnoticed. And at the base of one wall, beneath a loose stone, lies a tiny carved token. No one remembers who left it or why, only that it should not be moved. The guests don't see everything. They don't see Malin touching the lintel of the kitchen door 3 times every morning before the bread goes in, or Tom muttering the same phrase beneath his breath when he empties the ashes, something his grandmother once told him. In the pantry, a mouse has made its home beneath the flour sack. Malin knows, but she doesn't mind. They say every inn has its mouse, and it's bad luck to trap it. Better to share your crumbs and be free of mischief. The walls are carved here and there, too. Just beneath the edge of the upstairs windowsill, someone once etched a prayer in Latin, and by the hearth, a simple tally mark left by a soldier, counting the nights he'd stayed. These small details, quiet and often missed, are the soul of the inn. Not the stew, not the ale, not even the fire, but the lived-in, layered memory of so many days, each one folding gently into the next, like the pages of a book too long left open. By now, the sun hangs high, its golden rays slanting through the narrow windows, painting warm pools of light on the inn's stone floor. This is the quietest hour, a moment of stillness in the middle of motion, when even the busiest minds slow, and the old wooden beams seem to exhale. The guests have eaten. Some wander the road, visiting nearby stalls or chatting with locals at the well. Others remain inside, lulled into a sleepy daze by the heat of the fire and the weight of a full belly. One man rests his head on folded arms atop the table. Another leans in a corner, eyes closed, his breath soft and even. The harpist from this morning hums softly as he repairs a broken string, hands steady despite their age. In the small garden behind the inn, Malin trims sprigs of mint and yarrow. She hums a tune, one older than she is. The herbs sway in the breeze, scenting the air with green and bitter sweetness. Inside, Tom finishes sweeping the floor, sending little clouds of flour and ash into the light. He watches them dance upward before settling again, as if reluctant to leave. The fire is low now, more embers than flame, and outside, a soft breeze rustles the hedgerows. It smells of earth, hay, and faraway rain. Time stretches thin in this moment, soft and sleepy, like a blanket pulled up beneath the chin. As afternoon begins its slow descent into evening, shadows lengthen. The sun slips behind the distant trees, setting the sky alight in strokes of rose, orange, and violet. Inside the inn, the lanterns are lit one by one. Their glow is gentle, golden, a flickering echo of the hearth's steady heart. Tom places a rushlight near the door, its faint flame bobbing like a small, floating star. The great fire is rekindled now, its crackle returning in earnest. The smell of smoke and spice rises, mingling with the sharp scent of cider poured into wooden mugs. Dinner is simpler than midday, but satisfying. Stewed lentils, roasted roots, thick slabs of brown bread, spread with honey or thick butter, and always a bit of cheese crumbled from the large wheel in the pantry. The guests return, drawn in by hunger, comfort, and the promise of companionship. A traveler with a red cloak sets down his walking stick and orders a bowl of stew. An old woman trades 3 eggs for a cup of mulled wine, and the 2 monks from earlier offer to read a psalm to anyone who will listen, though few do. Someone brings out a lute. The notes are quiet at first, testing the strings, adjusting the pitch. Then a melody begins, a lullaby, perhaps, or a love song long forgotten. It fills the space between the timbered walls like a prayer whispered to no one in particular. Near the fire, a dog lies stretched out on the stone. His paws twitch now and then, chasing some imagined rabbit in his dreams. And outside, the wind picks up, just a little, rustling leaves, rattling shutters, and setting the inn's old sign creaking once more. Now the stars begin to blink into the sky, one by one, like slow breaths in a sleeping chest. The inn is bathed in warm amber. The sounds are quieter now, softer, slower. Conversation fades to murmurs. Laughter becomes a hush, and even the lute has grown more tender. At one table, Edric tells a story. It's not a grand tale. No dragons, no kings, just a memory of a winter long past when the snow piled high and a lost traveler arrived with a basket of dried apples and a song no one knew. The guests listen, some with closed eyes, others with their chins in their palms. Stories like this aren't told for excitement. They're told to remind everyone they're not alone. A gentle quiet returns. Someone pokes at the fire, sending a small flurry of sparks upward. They vanish like fireflies into the chimney's mouth. At the far wall, a candle flickers and gutters out. Its smoke curls toward the ceiling and disappears. In the loft above, a few guests have already retired. You can hear the soft creak of the floorboards, the rustle of blankets, the faint sound of someone settling in and sighing deeply. The cat leaps up onto a bench and curls once, twice, then settles. Even the air has gone still, as though listening. Outside, the wind hushes. The fields beyond the village lie quiet and silver beneath the rising moon. And within these walls, sleep begins to creep. It is the middle of the night now. A hush has settled over the inn, so complete, it feels like the building itself is dreaming. The great room is nearly dark. Only a few coals in the hearth glow faintly beneath a drift of ash. Their gentle red pulses every now and then, as if breathing. The fire no longer crackles. It sighs. Outside, the wind tiptoes through the hedgerows, tugging softly at shutters and rustling the ivy on the walls. The moon rides high, casting silver light across the thatched roof and the quiet lane. Somewhere far off, a barn owl calls, one low, slow note that fades into the distance. Inside the inn, all is still. The guests lie curled in their straw beds, wrapped in woolen cloaks and worn linen. There are no blankets here, not truly, but layers of warmth built from habit and shared space. Breath rises and falls in soft rhythms. A child stirs and nestles closer to his mother. The cat, having taken its watchful rounds, now sleeps atop a sack of barley in the kitchen. In the hallway, a candle burns low in a wall niche, just enough light to show the path to the privy. It flickers now and then, as if uncertain whether to remain. Edric sleeps in his small room off the main hall, one hand resting across his chest, his dreams undisturbed. Malin, in her cot beside him, murmurs once, just a single sound, then grows still again. Above them, the beams of the inn hold their quiet vigil. Some are older than memory, carved from oaks that once shaded a Saxon field. They creak faintly in the night, not in protest, but like an old man adjusting his seat by the fire. There is no danger here, no urgency, only rest. They say every traveler has an inn waiting for them, not a grand one, not shining or new, but old, settled, quietly kind. An inn with a door that fits your hand, a seat by the fire that somehow always waits for you, a mug that warms your fingers, and a hearth that remembers your name, even if you've never been there before. The inn we visited tonight may not exist anymore, or perhaps it still does. Somewhere beyond the hedgerows of time, its timbers remember every footfall. Its walls echo every song and sigh. Its hearth glows with the stories of 1,000 forgotten nights. You might pass it in a dream, just a crooked sign hanging on a lane, a flicker of candlelight in a window, a whisper of wood smoke on the wind. And if you ever do, step inside. The bread will be warm, the fire low, and someone will always greet you without surprise, as if you were simply returning home, because in some small way, you are. Now, dear listener, the day has ended. The inn is sleeping, the road is still, and the stars above are keeping watch. You don't need to think anymore. You don't need to do. Just be here, wrapped in softness, surrounded by memory and warmth. Breathe in slowly and let go even slower. You've journeyed through another time walked among quiet lives, and now the only thing left to do is sleep. The inn will remain. Its hearth will always wait. Good night, traveler. Sleep well.